you listen to reason? Will you open your eyes?
Shaitanya? Or Shaitanya?
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
I'm very happy today to be able to speak to both of you. And I was very nervous initially, but I have been trying hard to try to reach you guys for a couple of weeks. And today was my lucky day. I prayed and I got it through.
Oh, that's one way of looking
All
at
right.
it.
So there's one data point. Let's test prayer some more.
Okay. So I'll tell you my background. I'm a Hindu. Okay. And I'm in U.S. for a couple of years now. And while I was here, I was curious about Christianity, so I visited a couple of churches to understand what they are trying to teach and their point of view. So I have been to many countries like Japan, Europe, and I have visited the temples over there and talked to the priests over there. And I have a very good exposure into this religious thing. And I feel you guys have decided to become atheists, which is a very intelligent thing. I really respect that. From my point of view, I think you have graduated to the next level. Okay?
Well, thanks.
Yeah, because you don't have to stop there. Okay, that's what I want to tell you. There are much higher levels than this level where you are.
You understand that there's only two possibilities. There's theism and atheism. Either you believe that some God exists or you don't.
No, we can talk like this. See, the moment you start believing whether something is there or something is not there, you are doing a mistake.
Really? Those are, as a matter of logic, the only options. Something either exists or it doesn't.
There is another way to think.
Okay.
The other way to think is, I don't know and I will find out.
No. I'm not asserting that I know. I'm happy to say I don't know and I'll find out. But as a matter of fact, something either exists or it does not.
I agree with that approach.
Okay. Now, if somebody says this exists, there are only two options for me. I either believe that it exists or I do not believe that it exists.
See, the moment you use the word belief, okay, then what happens is that you don't know is what you're trying to say.
Well,
if you
no,
it's like not. You are wearing a shirt. Do you believe that you are wearing a shirt or do you know you are wearing a shirt?
Both. See, the two aren't mutually exclusive. Knowledge is a subset of belief. Belief simply means that you accept that a claim is true or likely true. And so you either believe something or you don't. Knowledge is a subset of belief. It has to do, the way that I tend to use it is in a more colloquial sense, is that you are convinced to such a high degree of certainty that it would be worldview altering to discover that you're wrong. I really don't care about what people claim to know, because we don't wait until we know something or wait until we claim to know something to act. We act in accordance with our beliefs, and so it's beliefs that matter. It doesn't matter whether I know that I'm wearing a shirt or believe that I'm wearing a shirt, because, first of all, they're not mutually exclusive. I don't have to reach the point of knowledge for my belief that I'm wearing a shirt to impact my worldview. It's already part of my worldview.
See, the point I'm trying to make is that, okay, is if you know that you're wearing a shirt, there is no need to believe it.
You can't avoid it. If you know it, you also believe it.
Like, for example, when we say that there is sun in the sky, we don't have to believe in sun, right? We know it's there.
But we still believe it. Are you saying you don't believe it? If those are the only two options, you either believe or you don't, right?
I mean, okay, let's get ahead from this point. I think you understand what I'm trying to say, and I also understand what you are trying to say, okay?
I'm not so really sure, but well, go ahead.
Okay. So basically, see, even in Hinduism, there are various levels, okay, where people believe in deities and they pray to the deities. Just like in any other religion, Christianity, they believe in certain form of God and they pray to them, okay? But later on, what happens, after a lot of struggle, once a person's maturity or experience grows, he starts asking questions like all the atheists ask, right? And they are not satisfied with the answers that they get. So that is the qualification criteria to go to the next level, actually.
I don't understand what you mean by levels, but okay.
Levels like, for example, you qualified to this level of atheism.
There's no level of atheism. There's no level of atheism. It's a binary thing. You're either an atheist or you're not. The only way to be a bad atheist is to believe in a God.
Okay, try what I'm trying to say. Okay, try to understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that before you believed in something, okay, but then later on your intellect, your intelligence started growing, and then you started questioning, and then you could not find reasonable answers, logical answers to your questions. Then you stopped believing that thing, okay?
Believing what thing?
Whatever God concept you had.
Well, I, for example, never had a God belief. So how does that fit in with your concept of levels?
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that as a person, like when we were children, you know, many people believe in Santa Claus. But after a certain level, they stop believing in Santa Claus because they know it's stupid.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the level I'm talking about.
Okay.
So every one of us are going through different levels in our life of understanding or maturity. Okay, just like our body grows, our understanding or intellect also grows. So the moment you qualify to the next level, there are higher level of challenges. You have to cross that. Okay, so now what I feel is you have qualified to the next level. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that don't stop. Have you investigated?
Level up.
Have you investigated about meditation and different techniques of meditation or yoga?
Sure, but what the hell does that have to do with the question? The question is, does a God exist?
See, the problem in Hinduism is that we don't start the question whether the God exists or not.
Okay.
That is not the approach we take. God, we don't even start discussing about God. Okay?
Well, see, as atheists, our position is about the God question. So if you're not going to address that question, I don't know what the hell that has to do with atheism.
Actually, what I'm trying to say is that the God question will be answered at the end. Okay?
So you think you can answer the God question?
First, we have to answer who are we? Who am I? Who are you? We have to start where we stand. If we don't know who we are, your name is Matt, okay? It is a name given to you by your parents, but who are you really? We have to go on asking those questions to ourselves, and through meditation you can get those answers.
Yeah, see, first of all, I'm interested in reality.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm giving you reality.
I understand that meditation, along with quiet reflection and other things, have been shown to have some positive benefits. But I have not seen any evidence that meditation provides you with some sort of grand answer that is actually demonstrably true that you couldn't achieve through just thinking.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. See, the thing is, we have to understand there are two types of sciences. One is subjective science and the other is objective science. Okay? Are you with me?
No, not really.
Okay. Subjective science means when the experimental lab is within us. And objective science means when
That's
the
not
experimental lab
science.
is outside us.
No, that subjective experience, introspection stuff, that's not science.
Yeah, I would say all of science is objective, or it's not science.
Or strives to eliminate subjective.
Right.
Okay, I will try to explain what is subjective. Let's say I eat an apple, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I give the apple to you also. You also taste it. So how the apple is going to taste to you, I will never know, or you will never know how it tastes to me. It's a subjective experience.
Okay. I agree with you in part in that I cannot fully comprehend what it's like to you, and I cannot have the same exact experience that you are, that it is necessarily subjective. But that doesn't mean that our individual experiences don't still tie to an external reality.
See, that is where I want to try. See, this is a challenge when we start discussing about spirituality or God. The whole discussion is within the realm of subjectivity.
Well, then I'm uninterested. If it can't be demonstrated, if there is no reliable path, if there's no scientific process to demonstrate the truth of it, then one subjective claim is just as good as another. If we have no evidence supporting it, that is subject to independent verification, falsification, peer review, etc., I'm not interested. You might as well tell me, you know, it's like if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I was abducted by aliens last night. Well, they might have been. But if we have absolutely no way to verify it, and there is no supporting evidence that even the kind of thing that they're talking about is actually true, then we can't be justified in claiming that their story is true. And so their story is irrelevant to me. I mean, apart from telling me something about them.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but let's say if I give you a process, let's say there are 10 steps in the process, and if I ask you, okay, if you walk these 10 steps, okay, and then you will go through that experience, what would you say?
Well, I don't know.
See, it's a science, okay? It's an inner science, but.
What? I'm sorry, what?
It is a science. But
Okay.
it is a different. See, this
No,
is
no,
what
no. You're saying.
you are stopping at the objective level science, okay?
Yes.
You are stopping at the objective level science, and that is what I'm trying to challenge you, that don't stop there. Okay?
Well, I'm sorry, but if we don't stop there, then we haven't got any viable pathway to distinguish truth from fantasy.
So let's say we document the process. There are 10 steps. Let's say I'm proposing 10 steps, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever, okay? And I'm telling 100 people to follow it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then they will reach to a certain level of tranquility within themselves.
How did you measure a level of tranquility within themselves?
Unfortunately, there are no science tools available in the world today to measure anything in the subjective world.
Right. So how can you even pretend that you just demonstrated something that is reliable if you can't quantify it?
Okay, Matt, tell me one thing in your life. Have you ever met anybody who was able to demonstrate certain superhuman capabilities?
What do you mean by superhuman? I mean, because Michael Jordan may be considered superhuman. He's certainly better than the average or even the exceptional human being at a particular thing.
Like, now, I'm not talking of someone who is able to lift, let's say, 400 kilos of weight versus you are able to lift only 100 kilos of weight. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that, which is humanly impossible, something like to be able to read something from your past, okay, just by looking at you, or to be able to exactly tell, just by looking at a picture of a person, what that person, everything about that person. Have you ever met such people?
No, and anybody who could actually do that could win $1 million from the James Randi Educational Foundation. So far, nobody's been able to do that in any sort of testable, demonstrable fashion.
Actually, I have a couple of people who are able to do that, and I investigated the James Randi Foundation, but I found that they are not acknowledging or respecting certain claims, okay? Because
the only claims that, well, I won't say the only ones, there are claims that they don't test, things like people claiming that they can jump off a building and fly, because if they decided to test that, they would potentially be liable for that idiot dying.
Yeah, correct. I agree with you. So there is nothing such sort of danger in that. I know, okay?
Yeah, but
so,
if you're talking about, if you know somebody who can look at a picture and tell you everything about a person, that's something that the James Randi Educational Foundation would most definitely test.
And I will tell you that I know many people like that, okay? And with my personal own experience, I have tested that. Okay?
Well, you could present one and to the JREF and have them tested. Why don't you do that?
I will tell you, I have sent them like emails almost every month, and I have not received any response from them, okay? So I don't believe there are any credible people who are really there to, open up these secrets.
You're aware that they've actually conducted these tests live not every year, but for the past couple of years at the amazing meeting in Las Vegas, that they actually do a test, right?
I know. See,
okay.
There could be two agendas of that James Randi thing. What it could be is there are many people who are cheats also. To expose the cheats, that could be one agenda, okay? But they would not touch the genuine guys.
That's okay. I tell you what, I don't have $1 million.
Yep.
But you send me an email describing in detail exactly what it is that this superhuman thing that you have somebody that can do. And if in fact I agree that this is superhuman and something that would be deserving of the JREF, not only will I contact them and see if they would be willing to test it, but we'll talk about maybe setting up a test protocol where maybe they could get $1,000. But even outside of all of that, why in the hell has no scientific journal tested and demonstrated that these guys can do something miraculous?
If you want to look, there are many scientific journals who are testing. Like, for example, I'll give you a simple example. You can look in the YouTube itself, okay?
No, YouTube. I'm not going to go looking at YouTube. No. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you just one example. Hear me out. There is one guy, okay, who has not eaten food for many years.
Bullshit.
Do you believe this is possible?
No, I actually, not only do I not believe that it's possible, I am utterly convinced that it is a lie. These supposed sun eaters have been tested, and they are liars. Now, that doesn't mean they're all liars. Maybe you found somebody who actually can exist without eating. But until they're tested under strict conditions, you can't claim that it's true. And the fact that you would point to YouTube and say, look, here's a video about a guy who claims he hasn't eaten anything in years. I mean, that's just nonsense.
Come on, I'm trying to tell you that there are certain examples and we can personally go and investigate. What is the big deal?
I can't investigate whether or not somebody has eaten in the past 3 years, but what I can do is lock them in a room without food and see how long they last. And no wonder the JREF doesn't want to test your absolutely preposterous claim. You started off by talking about somebody who could look at pictures and tell you about people. And now, as your prime example, you want to go to a test that is harmful.
Why? I'm ready for that kind of challenge that I will take you to those people.
I don't want to go to somebody who claims they haven't
That
eaten.
is the problem.
No. The problem.
You're running away. You're scared to face the truth.
I'm scared. Would you let me finish the sentence? What I was saying was I don't want to go see those people who claim they haven't eaten because going to see them can prove nothing.
Why?
Going to see someone who claims that they haven't eaten in years proves nothing. Do you know how long you'd have to sit with somebody and guard them to make sure that they weren't eating? Do you have any idea what that entails?
Okay, scientifically I'll tell you, it takes 45 days for a man to die without food. Okay?
So how do these people demonstrate that they haven't had food in 3 years or whatever?
No, you don't have to stay there, stick around for 3 years. I'm saying just stick around for 60 days. See, that is the reason. See, you have to be equally passionate to find out the truth. They are ready to test themselves.
But how can you tell? How can you tell from a YouTube video?
That doesn't sound fair, no?
How can you tell by watching a YouTube video that this person didn't eat for even 45 days?
I'm not saying that.
Have you ever sat with any of them for 60 plus days?
I have seen people myself my whole life. But
Have you actually sat with any of these supposed sun eaters for 60 plus days, nonstop, 24 hours, verifying that they didn't eat?
I have not said.
You haven't?
I have not said, but we have to give them the benefit of doubt.
No, we don't. You don't give the benefit of the doubt on claims about not eating food. Are you going to give somebody the benefit of the doubt when they claim that they can fly?
Listen, we have to give them the benefit of doubt because we have to go there and test them.
No, I'm not the one running away here. You're the one running away. You're running away by giving them the benefit of the doubt. You found something and you're willing to just go ahead and accept it at face value. And I'm sorry, but
I'm a scientific guy.
You are not scientific.
Okay, and evaluate them scientifically, and these people, okay.
You are demonstrating that you do not understand the rigors of scientific investigation. Do you think that, for example, Scientific American magazine would publish a big old article about these sun eaters, these people who don't eat, and say, our reason for accepting this is that we must give them the benefit of the doubt? Do you think that's the way science works?
Science works based on a lot of, financing by corporations. Do you believe in all scientific journals?
We're done. Thanks so much for calling in.
No, listen.
No, we're done. I was actually going to do something kind of fun today, and I'm sorry, I want to make sure you get in on this too, which was to have everybody in the studio audience kind of like get a card, And when they reached the point at which they would hang up on the collar, they would just hold it up. And then when I saw enough of these, that would determine. And I wouldn't hang up before I saw enough of them, but I forgot to hand out the cards. Science doesn't work that way, does it, John?
No, it doesn't. And you know, as soon as he said give them the benefit of the doubt on some claim they make, you're already outside the realm of science there. Science is demonstrating. You don't give anything the benefit of the doubt in science.
Yeah. I mean, the benefit of the doubt is something that we would call faith and gullibility. It's one of those things where you can actually test those people. You could probably come up with a somewhat safe scientific protocol. But yeah, these people who claim that they don't eat, you would have to lock them up in a room and monitor them 24/7 to make sure that nobody was sneaking them any food. You'd have to monitor their health conditions. And there's a number of different ways that they could potentially cheat. One of the things is when scientists go and investigate this, they need to have people who are experts in fooling people involved in setting up the test protocols, which is why the James Randi Educational Foundation is run by magicians. And magicians are involved in, as far as I can tell, every test protocol they've ever set up, because that's where the expertise is in fooling people. It's just, I hear these things, these amazing things, and when we go, on the occasions when we investigate this, and it's kind of silly that, you know, pretend like we're not willing to investigate them. If somebody makes this amazing, miraculous claim, dowsing, we've tested dowsers over and over and over again. Will we ever reach a point where we've tested dowsers enough that we don't have to test them anymore? Well, as a rule, in the broad-based scientific pursuit of truth, no, we'll never reach that point, because it's possible that somebody could develop a dowsing talent or ability that's paranormal, and they could pass. There might be somebody who could pass. But when it comes to determining how we're going to spend our time, I'm pretty sure we don't really need to waste time testing dowsers anymore. At least anybody who wants to be tested and verified should have to pass some preliminary tests that don't waste the time of the people who are busy trying to do things like, I don't know, cure cancer. I talk to the dead. Great. When they talk back and you can prove it, then we'll have something to talk about.